My favourite moment on set was when we put on the theme tune to Return to Fable Grove and we all danced, and it was just so cool to have fun on this project that we've been working day in and day out on, and just seeing it all come together and reflect on that and just, goof it around a little bit in the process.
A divergent thinker is that you think almost like a spider web, lots of different ideas. You're going with that. Convergent thinker is more of like a like one idea and we'll build off that.
Yeah, I'm definitely a convergent thinker.
No, you're not.
Sorry.
Every single third year in Fable Grove is a divergent thinker.
Oh, I'm definitely a divergent thinker.
Oh goodness, I'm mostly a divergent thinker.
Ooh, I'm probably a divergent thinker.
I don't know what those mean. I don't listen.
I have divergent ideas, but then I only pursue it if I know it makes sense to do it.
I think I'm a divergent thinker. It definitely takes me a while to wrap my head around all these different strings and how they can come together. I kind of mix that nostalgia with a more modern way of telling stories to get something that was a blend of the two. So Fable Grove was born out of accumulation of lots of different ideas.
The story, it never really, stopped evolving. It was always changing, it was always growing.
Coming up with the design of the puppets, we went through this process of pulling together different words that were either nature-inspired or fairy tale inspired. Then we ended up with a thistle sprite and a moss man.
Willow is a happy, fast, cheerful child, basically. Moss, slow, doesn't do much. It's moss man. So that kind of yin-yang dynamic is what we were going for. We wanted to have them play off each other's strengths and play off each other's weaknesses, just as Eli and Eden do through their relationship.
The Walker family is a dynamic that you see time and time again. You have the patriarch, Peter Walker, who kind of has control of the family. Even though he wants the best for his children, they don't really have a say in what they want to do.
The two parents have just kind of turned the family into a business.
Peter is very strict and driven with the show, whereas Eli, it's just something he doesn't want to do at all. The joy's been sucked out of it for him.
Eden, who's Peter's, star child, and she is the peacemaker.
It's very dysfunctional. None of the people in the family actually understood what anybody else was feeling or going through. All of the pressure kind of amounts on him, and then it just like all comes coming down on top of him.
And there's that lack of communication to be on the same page, and they never really find that footing until the very end of the film.
On the outside, showcase a beautiful world, whimsical characters, but on the inside, use that as a channel to bring people in to discuss much darker themes.
You'll subconsciously realize what's happening, but not consciously until the plot's revealed.
It's kind of sad, but also it's real because that kind of stuff happens. Families are like that.
I just think anything that media can do to alleviate the stigma of mental health, the better. So it's not something that only a minority of people deal with. We all have to deal with maintaining our mental health.
I feel like the topic of man versus reality in relation to mental health isn't discussed enough, especially through media. People with these kinds of mental disorders aren't villains. They should not be villainized. And I think what we do in Return to Fable Grove is we sort of humanize a mental state with Eli, because he is someone who is very obviously struggling with his own mental health, and showing how he got to that point and why he is that way. This house that he goes back into is very, very much a representation of what is going on in his mind.
So his mind being overgrown with all these different thoughts and memories and not knowing what to believe is represented through these plants writhing inside this house and it being this surreal landscape.
The first day, everyone had just been up pretty much all night trying to get done. I picked everyone up in the morning, stuffed half a forest in my car, put it in the lounge, And it was so cool actually seeing those cameras rolling and able to step back a bit and just see the madness happen in my house.
For the environment of Return to Fable Grove, we had a very specific sort of look that we needed to achieve to tell the story properly. The environment that the story takes place in is definitely a character in and of itself.
How characters and puppeteers would operate within the space, safety, environmentalism, funding, time. There were so many different elements to think of.
Because half the film was set-based, it means a lot of blocking. So we were storyboarding bird's eye view down, trying to figure out all these different characters and puppets and where they go.
The late nights where the art department developed the set were in an old basketball gym called T21.
I lived there, basically, you know, you get in and pull like 15, 16-hour days.
There was a lot of coffee, a lot of pizza, a lot of 2000s pop. What I'd drawn 6 months ago, full scale, was insane.
Suddenly you're standing in it. Completely surreal, otherworldly feeling, and we, I think, came up with a really, really fantastic end product.
It's like I love making physical props, things like, and you know, it's so much more satisfying when you like make something in the real world and then you can like hand it to someone else and they can be like, oh, that's cool. Especially the set, being able to like walk into a set and then like put my puppets into it. It's groovy. Puppeteering for the first time was pretty fun. It was challenging, not being able to look up. My man bun got in the way a lot, which was annoying. Sorry, Ben. Oh, and the big stretchy arms. I forgot about those.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
Oh, I made some stretchy arms. They're cool.
Okay, we have to start shooting now.
Yeah. Moss Man is a moody boy, and he needed to show a little bit of emotion on screen, more than Willow. Willow's a happy character. He's got an eyebrow mechanism that you can make him look happy or angry.
I don't know why he looks like Michael.
So one person can do an arm, one person can do the head, and then another person can do his other hand. Willow is just a simple hand and rod puppet, so like move her hands with rods attached to her wrists. Her fingers have wire in them, so you can move them a little bit.
Just to give them a face, to give the text somebody to belong to. That went through a development, but eventually we hit a point where like, that's that character, that's solely what they are. And seeing these characters look so similar to like the concept art.
Seeing the talent actually become those characters and bring their own mannerisms and characteristics to it just made it so much more real. It's things you can't write and ideate.
Good old Steadicam, like a couple of days, pretty much had it on all day. Quite a lot of movement. And reds are heavy, leg day, every day.
We've got quite a huge team, almost 30 people, and just kind of spending every day with them has been quite an experience. We've definitely got some good relationships out of it. And I'd also like to thank Lichgate Funeral Homes, because that was just something completely unexpected and amazing. I never thought we'd be able to get a coffin in.
We have so much of a really, really rich story world, and we only get to show a very small portion of that in our short film.
I still would love to see this project become huge, and especially for a small group of students in New Zealand.
It honestly means the world to see so many people come out and support us, to show that they really believe in what we're doing.
Take one, mark A. Okay, here we go. Action.